In this video, I will cover the most common rejection reason on stock photo websites, and that is out of focus or blurry images. Shutterstock is especially notorious for rejecting many images for this reason. I will also cover how to deal with this rejection reason to maximize your approval rates. First, it's always best to inspect your images at 100% view in your photo editing program. We use Adobe Bridge, Camera Raw, and Adobe Photoshop to manage our photos. Adobe Camera Raw is pretty much a Photoshop plugin that is equivalent to Adobe Lightroom. We recommend Adobe software and left the link down below for a free trial. We had so many images rejected by Shutterstock for the out of focus reason that I stopped counting. The most common reason for blurry images is an incorrect shutter speed setting. There are no rules for the shutter speed, but fast-moving objects often need faster shutter speeds. Also, even for static scenes, such as landscapes, a proper shutter speed is a must. When you take photos handheld, ensure that the shutter speed is at least double that of the focal distance. Let's say you are taking a photo of mountains without a tripod with a 200mm focal length. Your shutter speed should be at least 1/400th of a second. Otherwise, your image will be blurry. Also, if you have a tripod, you can use whatever shutter speed you like for static scenes for the desired effect. Another factor that can contribute to out-of-focus images is a low f-stop number. A low f-stop number produces a shallow depth of field and beautiful bokeh, but it also brings a narrow focus distance with it. That is because low f-stops open up your camera lens and let in more light. This makes it harder to keep everything in focus. You must be especially careful to ensure that your object is in focus when using a low f-stop setting. Always review your taken photos immediately on your camera preview screen. As for post-processing, it is important to properly sharpen your images. We start sharpening our images in Adobe Camera Raw using the Detail tab like so. We have detail value almost always set to 0. Otherwise, you will have undesired artifacts and noise. Also, you have masking option, which will let you do selective sharpening. Hold Alt on Windows or Option on Mac to see areas where the mask is being applied. After we finish our edits in Adobe Photoshop, we sharpen our images in lab mode. We edit our images in RGB mode 99.99% of the time, but temporarily convert the color space to lab mode for sharpening. You may know that RGB mode specifies colors through red, green, and blue channels. Lab mode does that through lightness or L, green and red axis or A, and blue-yellow axis or B. Without going into too many details, the gist is this. Sharpening images using the lightness channel in lab mode does not touch color pixels. If you sharpen color data, this can create artifacts and other unattractive anomalies. Here's how you sharpen images in lab mode in Adobe Photoshop. First, go to Image menu, choose Mode, and choose Lab Color. This will convert your color space from whatever you are working with, likely RGB, to lab color. Next, head to the Layers tab and duplicate your image layer and create a mask for it like so. This will allow us to apply sharpening to duplicate layer in a selective manner. Next, head to the Channels tab for your image and click on Lightness channel. You will see your image turn into black and white. Then activate the eye symbol for the lab channel to make it visible. You will see your original image, but with the lightness channel selected. Then we can apply sharpening with Unsharp Mask in Photoshop through the Filter menu. We often use amount from 100 to 150%, sharpen radius from 0.2 to 2, and threshold from 10 to 15. After applying Unsharp Mask, use the brush tool to mask out any part of the image you do not need sharpened. At the end, we convert our image back to RGB mode. Then we save it as JPEG for submission to Shutterstock and other websites. Sharpening in lab mode works almost always if you have a more or less sharp image. But it may happen that you have a great image, but it is a bit blurry. Or sometimes it's very blurry. After testing several programs, we decided to use Topaz Sharpen AI for this purpose. It can sometimes do wonders to out-of-focus images. After discovering Topaz Sharpen AI, we saw higher approval rates on stock photo websites. This was especially true for images that got rejected for out-of-focus reasons. We re-edited those images in Topaz Sharpen AI and resubmitted them. Later, they got accepted by the likes of Shutterstock. Topaz Sharpen AI uses a trained computer algorithm to recognize the blurry parts of an image. Then, it can apply selective sharpening and denoising functions where necessary. The software comes along with many sharpening models. These can be motion blur, out of focus, and too soft. When we have a very blurry image, we use the motion blur model. It creates sharpened edges that were not even there in the first place. The program is not perfect though, but it helped us many times to save a photo that would be otherwise unacceptable for stock photo sites. That'll be it for this tutorial on how to deal with blurry, out-of-focus images for stock photography websites. If you got something out of this, please give this video a like. Subscribe to our channel where we post photography tutorials and travel guides. Thank you for watching.